Hello. How can I see the comments? Hello, is anyone here? What day is it? It's Wednesday, the day after the debates. I'm live from San Francisco. It's Miriam. Why am I whispering? Am I shy? Anyone out there? This is Miriam Inane, investigative journalist, functional medicine consultant, best known for directing the film Vanishing of the Bees. I am in San Francisco. I am in America. I've left the jungle. I'm still adapting. I left September 15th, and I was off to a good start. Yeah, maybe I'll start there. And then we'll get to the debates, and we'll get to some of the things in the news that are more pressing than my update. But in any case, so on my way to the San Jose airport, I must have peed. Told Luis, my driver, to stop at least 4 or 5 times to pee. I was really, really nervous. I got through the gates without a mask, and I learned that they had taken my temperature without my knowledge, because it's a crime now to have a fever. It's a crime to have a fever. A fever is a good thing, but in this topsy-turvy world, it's the inverse. How is that? It's a big pill to swallow. So then I show my doctor's note and my negative PCR test. But they don't care. United says that I'm not going to get on the plane and that they're going to give me a refund. So right there, the universe was like, well, Miriam, if you really want to stay, you can. Because I had a lot of trepidation leaving the jungle because I was in heaven with beautiful people, the ocean, organic food, liberties, even though there was curfews and crazy mask wearing down below in the more urban areas where the fear predominates and more people have TVs. It's okay that, hey, after Costa Rican President Carlos met with the World Health Organization in about July 11th or so, that the community spread the cases, the case-demic, the bullshit PCR test.
How do they misuse PCR to estimate all these supposed free viral RNAs that may or may not be there?
I think misuse PCR is not quite. I don't think you can misuse PCR. No, the results, the interpretation of it. See, if you can say, if they could find this virus in you at all, and with PCR, if you do it well, you can find almost anything in anybody. It starts making you believe in the sort of Buddhist notion that everything is contained in everything else, right? I mean, because if you can amplify one single molecule up to something that you can really measure, which PCR can do, then there's just very few molecules that you don't have at least one single one of them in your body, okay? So that could be thought of as a misuse of it, just to claim that it's meaningful. It is. No, there's very little of what they call HIV, and what's been brought out here by Philpott and Isai already. The measurement for it is not exact at all. It's not as good as our measurement for things like apples. An apple is an apple. You know, you can get something that's kind of like, if you got enough things that look kind of like an apple and you stick them all together, you might think it's an apple. But and HIV is like that. Those tests are all based on things that are invisible, and the results are inferred in a sense. PCR is separate from that. It's just a process that's used to make a whole lot of something out of something. That's what it is. But it's not. It doesn't tell you that you're sick, and it doesn't tell you that the thing you ended up with really was going to hurt you or anything like that.
The numbers. Why is it that now my friend, this is a faulty test, folks. Why is it that my friend in Hollywood they're working on set for 3 weeks and all the tests are negative. Like, the odds don't make, that's not, no, this is a faulty test. So I don't know, you can just create numbers. If that sounds conspiratorial, the PCR test is not a diagnostic tool. The amplification is set to really have, it's set to have a lot of false positives. Okay, moving on. So at that moment, that juncture, I could have said I'm going to go back to the bubble that I've been living in. Given that I had the foresight to leave. Why is that? I'm going to move the camera. Why is that? Anyway, so I decided, well, I realized that I do want to go back. So I'm happy that I'm back, believe it or not, meaning I don't regret. I don't regret coming back. I try not to have regrets. I do regret not speaking Greek, but that's not really my fault. My dad didn't allow it because he didn't understand the language, but that's the main language that my mom and her family spoke, and I'm a Greek on the inside. Okay, sorry if that disappoints you, Dad. So I wore a mask. It was really like, oh, I've been in a coma since January. Why is everyone wearing masks? I tried. I had the documentation, and I bought the ticket on United because it told me they were going to honor my medical condition. But instead they used it against me and basically said, we don't care. Straight up, we don't care. So it's all under the guise of safety, and they really give a crap. I asked a man today, I was buying some Orbit treatment, which has aspartame, I believe, which I shouldn't be chewing, and actually my consumption of gum chewing of Orbit went down dramatically to nothing. I asked him, do you trust Fauci? And his answer was absolutely. Okay. Details don't matter. Details matter. # details matter. So I wore my face diaper like a performing seal, as Vivian Kubrick suggested. And for someone like me who is a black sheep, maybe that's good medicine. Can't explain that because I really think most people should go in the other direction and be less obedient. Just doing your job. Well, someone has to do their job for humanity, being human. And really, I wore the masks for a hot minute. And again, you'd have to wear N95 for any protection, really. I need to be wearing goggles if this is aerosolized, right? And sure, germs are gross. Okay, so I wore the mask. And I came to a brave new world. Hit the floor running. Speaking of which, it's a travesty to have the gyms. Okay, now they're open. Some of them are open. The bigger ones are opened. You have to wear a face diaper, mask, cloth, even outside. You're outside. You say you're in health. Do you not advocate for fresh air? There are fires here. Air quality in the past couple of days has not been so bueno. So you want to wear a mask. Okay, well, it should filter something. You should definitely get an N95 mask. And then on set, apparently that Hollywood has started up again. You wear the masks everywhere, but then when the actors, the director calls action, the Rona suspends animation. So smart. Such a smart virus. Just does not get the people. When they're calling action. Action means no action for you, Rona. You take a pause now. Okay. And then how many people are like, yeah, no, it's bullshit. Well, why don't we rise? Why don't we rise? This is not the fight, the masks. Well, it's some people's fight. Okay, so moving on to Houston, SF. Then walking around and seeing the circles in Dolores Park. You sit here. If you're outside of this circle, you might get the Rona. Okay. Then you wonder, am I the one crazy one? Why is everyone wearing masks outside? Why are you wearing a mask outside? take opportunity because 50% of the air quality is 50% shittier inside, and you're probably lacking in vitamin D. So, common sense, not so common anymore. All right, so moving on, get back, go to a marvel at the face masks outside. Outside, I can see inside an establishment for various reasons, myriad reasons, but not outside. I'm not going to change on that. I'm not going to waver. Nope. I don't care if I'm the oddball. And I'm not. And then I say to them, what size is the virus? What size is that cloth mask? Have you read the science? And the science, we do this with tuberculosis. The height of its mortality rate was 0.26. And yeah, if you are one of the two who has a chronic illness and comorbidities and you have, but then I don't know. Because, like, for instance, my uncle just passed away and is 80. And he worked for Big Pharma, ironically. And he was placed on a vent. And I'm sure they're not the ones. My family have read the studies back in February and March on ventilator-associated pneumonia and the fact that you're traumatizing the lungs, and there's already a lot of inflammation. And you're just adding a lot of pressure because most people don't know how to properly use them. But you do get $39,000 if you put someone on a vent. Hippocrates is rolling in his grave right now. Never know where this leads. It's just impromptu. Okay, so yeah, my uncle passed away. I firmly believe it's the ventilator. He was 80. He couldn't breathe. I wasn't there, not allowed to ask too many questions. But 8 and 9, 10 people that get on a ventilator don't get off. Okay? There's many studies. It's indisputable at this point. So that's that. Okay, so let's see. Go to a protest down the street, and it was a defund the police. There's a whole bunch of police that were standing very stoic, standing, not speaking, no violence. And groups of kids are speaking to them as if they are heard, as they are the one group, okay? And who's behind the police? Where do they get their techniques from? Do they get them from Israel? I'm not quite sure. Maybe in Minneapolis, the neck technique has been used around the world, and it is an Israeli technique. So my research shows. So these were very obedient, like Buddha-like, at least from what I saw in that moment. And I'm seeing a bunch of kids do exact same thing that they're standing supposedly against. They are crucifying a whole group of people. And I'm not saying that there's no police brutality in any shape, way, or form. I'm not. But to just hate a whole group of people. And then they hated on me. They coughed on me. They got into my personal space. They weren't fucking social distancing. I was filming them from far away. I wasn't zoning in on anyone. I was in a public space, and I was not wearing a mask. And they came into my grill. They touched my camera. They called me bitch. And they asked me, who are you with? I posted it on YouTube. They found me, and they shat on me. They threatened me. They complained. It was taken down for no reason. I'm going to assume it was a glitch. And I posted it again. Showed a lot of restraint. I wish I showed more. Way more than Trump yesterday. To not be infected by their virus of fear and hate. These seemingly were operating like a group. It was like they were programmed. I did not see an opening. I really tried. When I did try to connect, it irked them, just like a vampire with light. And no, I was not there for conflict. I'm not going to shy away from conflict, but I wasn't there. I was just there to document and see for realsies, compared to what we're on the inside know about Antifa and BLM, that there are many that believe they're being used as pawns and they don't give a fuck about black lives. The people on the top behind Antifa and BLM. So that was like really disturbing. I feel like I'm like looking up at the camera, but my left leg is out. It was disturbing. All right, so the debate, horrible, semi-scripted crap. Trump, why didn't you not show more restraint? And Biden called him a racist, a liar, told him to shut up. It was not any more presidential. These were like two boys in a schoolyard. It's like WWF. WTF. What is this? Things are taken out of context today, of course. Like Biden, you said that he said stand back and stand ready. I went to look at the transcripts because that's not what I recall. He said stand back and stand by. But he didn't say law and order because he would lose a lot of the radical left. And I think and defunding the police is not, there's a big difference between defund and reform, I believe. And no one can dispute there's many bad apples, and maybe at the core, what is the psychology of cops? Is it like a pack mentality, like a lot of these corrupt, like which enterprise is not corrupt? Who is not corrupt? Who is not an accomplice? Willingly, unknowingly. What is the solution? Are we boiling slowly? To be caught up in divide and conquer. Just disappointing. Good evening. Sending love. Oh, so great to read comments. Anything is better. I'm assuming you mean Trump. And blaming the coronavirus deaths when, yeah, he's saying this is no less fatal than the flu. And that is actually what they're trying to cover up. And it's coming out. It's coming out. And you, who's judging, have not been doing 10 hours of research every day since January. Why is it that I ended up in the jungle? Because obviously I knew something was going to happen. So to say blame everything, he's the closest thing to telling the truth. These are all false positives. My uncle did not die of COVID-19. He died of a ventilator. He died because he was overweight. He died of other things. Didn't have to die, in my opinion, in my background. So Biden stayed pretty calm. Well, he called him names. He obviously is an impulsive like Trump. But you'd really have to look at Biden's legacy of 47 years. And again, it might all be political theater. I don't want communism. To just say everything under his watch happened when it's Hegelian, I don't think is fair. If you look at, these guys have been planning for pandemics. They fucking had Event 201 in October 2019, where we've been saying it since the beginning, organizing. And these players are on the COVID-19 extended task force. They're ruining the economy for a global reset while they enslave us. You know, and we're left fighting between each other instead of actually rising up and not being a pawn in a game of divide and conquer. And again, I'm not going to choose communism. That's me. It's okay. I used to remember the day when we agreed to disagree. Now it's cuckoo. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the things I want to talk about beyond the clown show debate. Project Veritas came out with ballot harvesting in Hennepin County.
James O'Keefe here in downtown Minneapolis at the scene of the crime. The person you're about to meet, Liban Mohammed, aka King Liban 1, boasts about the hundreds of absentee ballots in his car.
Numbers don't lie. Waa ujeedaan gaarigaygu waa buuxaa. Waxaas waa absent ballot salka yaala. Soo ma jeedin. Fiiri, waxaas oo dhan soo ma jeedin. Waa buuxaa gaarigaygu. Waa buuxa yaala. Waxaas kulli waa Jamaal Cusmaan way. Fiiri. 300 clear maanta soo dhacday oo Jamaal Cusmaan. Yeah.
There was video. You can see the video. There was a video out and about that he has the ballots in his car.
Right.
And talking about the only way you can win is with money. I was looking at them and they were not filled. They were blank.
Who is the one filling out the absentee ballots? People who work with, like Ilhan Omar. Where do they pay the money? The minute we sign the thing, the election, that's what you get paid.
Money is everything. Money is the key in this world. If you ain't got money, you should not be here, period.
Marka odayaasha waa loo codsadaa. Waana laga qaadaa.
At the end of this street,
Yes.
there's 3 towers called Horn Towers.
Okay.
And it's all seniors, and they took every ballot.
Every ballot. They just take
Every
them from
single
them.
ballot. They knock on the door and say, your ballots, come give it to me, give it to me.
They don't even pay them for it. They just take it.
No. And the ones that didn't vote on ballots, the young people and the women and stuff, they were paying cash. They were getting bags of money the last 1 week here to drive people. So there's a vested interest, but we are victims of the system. They don't give a shit about any Somali.
2 in the morning, still hustling.
Who is the one filling out the absentee ballots? People who work with, like Ilhan Omar and other candidates who work for them. They came to us, to our apartments. They tell us that this year you're going to vote for it. You don't go nowhere, you stay home, we will tell you fill up for your absentee ballot. When it comes, we'll come and get it. You just don't go nowhere, you stay here. They fill it for us.
Hennepin County. I've been blowing the whistle on Hennepin County since May. A lot of effery in Hennepin County, whether we're talking about Keith Ellison, AG Keith Ellison, or Frey, or Tim Walz. I mean, all of Minneapolis, but Hennepin. All right, where El Nuevo, and I reported in June about Omar Sabri and how lots of his properties happened to burn, because when you have Ozarks on COVID-19 and you don't have a legitimate operation, you need to burn some shit down. So let's burn evidence room of the police, Minneapolis Police Department. Let's burn El Nuevo. Let's burn La Raza. Let's burn a shitload of Omar Sabri's investments. A felon, convicted felon, a slumlord. They sent BLMers and Tifa to Somali Mall, so that got ruined. Who knows what the insurance plans are? Just telling you what I found. So then they find this, James O'Keefe reports on this Ilhan Omar harvesting, paying Somalians to vote, and then finding all these ballots. So it is a bipartisan issue. It's so I remember when I was looking into Alexander Baker, the medical examiner, and I came across a Zoom call from Hennepin County on June 9th and June 11th, because they said that Andrew Baker, stay with me, Andrew Baker, medical examiner, had caused, quote, irreparable damage to the Black community with his autopsy report. His 20-page exhaustive and detailed autopsy report somehow caused irreparable damage to the Black community. Come again? I don't understand. How? by showing that fentanyl, Floyd had fentanyl and amphetamines and was like drugged up and arguably swallowed some shit, maybe a speedball, that they showed his comorbidities. Anyway, so in that meeting, I come across the fact that they're asking for $3.5 million as part of the CARES Act. Maybe that's not a lot of money compared to the big budget of the CARES Act, thanks Pelosi. But $3.5 million for that small county. I mean, it's a big county in Minneapolis. And there's one man who, when I put this together on YouTube, I'll cut to him, is saying that it's that fraud, voter fraud, and that we're in basically uncharted territory, and we have to be very careful with this money.
Commissioner Opat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also appreciate that this is before us, and certainly a good use of the CARES Act money. I know my traditional Robbinsdale polling place, I think the average age is 70 more than 5. So I don't know how many of those folks are going to be around, but I will say this. I think we may be, at least I don't feel like I'm educated enough to understand what will this new process be. And I feel like I need a calendar from you guys and an idea of like, what are the transactions around a mail-in ballot? Because I don't know them. There was something received at my house, not for me, that talked about getting an invitation to apply for a ballot or whatever. But I think anytime we deviate from the traditional, it's going to bring some concerns. We've already seen concerns in the partisan world with voting when people are not in person around the endorsement of Senate candidates and House candidates, and they're not small matters. It is some of those races are hanging in the balance because there's not, I'd say, total confidence, or it wasn't an impervious sort of a practice that was used. So I do think we need to understand what's going to happen both with mail-in ballots and what happens as you decide to consolidate polling places within cities, because there's going to be, I just think there's massive confusion that we're headed for, because we've had this discussion 5 times, and I know we're going to trend toward mail-in. I don't know what percentage of the electorate we think that's going to reach. I don't know what's going to happen to everybody else. I'm not sure about the timeframes for completing the absentee ballot or excuse-free absentee ballot. I forget what the term is, but I just think we have a lot of work to do here. Everything is more work in 2020. But I just think, and that's for me, it would start with a calendar and the transactions that happen for somebody to both receive a ballot, turn it in, timelines and things like that. So I hate to pile on, but I don't know of any way to make kind of progress we need, but to start now and start with at least the 7 of us so you can answer our questions. Thank you.
And then fast forward to September or whenever James filmed this, and you have this fraud going on. And it's like, if you can gather for a protest or grocery shop or whatever, then, in some instances have mail-in voting if you're scared to death, which is arguably a lot of people if you take a walk in the Mission. I don't know. Or people are obedient, or I don't know. You're outside. You're outside. Please, I'm imploring you, get some fresh air. This is for your health. All right. What else? I had the honor to listen to Robert Kennedy Jr. and meet him. He is a hero as far as fighting against medical tyranny, someone of his stature. He spoke eloquently. He's also vaccine injured. And I ended up writing a 4,000 word piece. I looked at the word count today and I was like, damn, I've been working on it for 2 weeks. And it's a little long for these times, because maybe it's because I come from a different generation, but I don't know who does long form reading. I certainly have ADHD. I'm reading like a bazillion things at once. Like, seriously, I have so many windows. Excuse me. So I wanted to share that about Hennepin County. This county is full of fuckery. And Omar Sabri has ties to Hamas. Like I said, he's a felon. He's a slumlord. He's connected to this Ilan Omar and this ballot harvesting and using Somalians. And then there's, I don't know if I could find this clip that I put out on Twitter of, who was it that said, basically, like, to the Somalians, Black lives is, he was speaking to Muslims, but he was saying that Black lives is now their crusade.
You can make a whole difference in 2016. You can change the reality of our time. This is the time for us as American Muslims to be in the front, not to retreat, because all of you are leaders. Your votes are your negotiating power in the year 2016. Turn your centers, Islamic centers, mosques, into registration centers for voters. Black Lives Matter is our matter. Black Lives Matter is our campaign.
Basically, you are the new black people of America. If we don't stand, you will see Muslims murdered in the streets. We are the community that staged a revolution across the world. If we could do that, why can't we have that revolution in America?
So it's all connected if you really look at the details, and there is so much corruption. So I found that worthwhile. So that's actually why I wanted to do this video, to shed light on this little thing that I came across that I'm pretty sure no one else has, because it's so obscure in Hennepin County Commissioner meeting. But there's this one man that does stand up, and he is actually the commissioner that stood up for Alexander Baker. And it was by listening to him that I was like, okay, Alexander Baker is really, in essence, the independent examiner. It's not you, Michael Baden. It's not.
The reappointment of Dr. Andrew Baker as the Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner. This is consistent with statutory requirements. This is a board-appointed position on recommendation of the administrator. Dr. Baker was first appointed in 2004 to the position of Chief Medical Examiner at Hennepin County, and over the last 16 years has established himself as a national leader in the medical examiner forensic science field. He's shown exemplary service and leadership, overseeing one of the premier medical examiner offices in the nation. He has served as the president of the National Association of Medical Examiners. He has published. He's a frequent lecturer nationally, internationally, and we should be very proud of the medical examiner's office in that it has been certified nationally multiple times with very stringent and restrictive requirements. So I am requesting the board to accept this recommendation and to reappoint Dr. Baker to a 5th 4-year term.
This George Floyd, so sad to hear these girls talk about George Floyd's death when this is a psyop. I don't know if the dude's dead. Maybe he is dead. That's unfortunate. But these guys are so, they are not squeaky clean. George Floyd, you were caught in Texas, where you admitted that you have a daily oxycodone sniffing problem, and you're caught with lots of controlled substances, and you're an accomplice as your burglar mate gets pistol whips a pregnant woman, and Courtney says you're the most spiritual man that she's ever met. Who's paying attention to these details? Nobody. It was caught on camera. Darnella Fisher-Frazier has raised $500,000 for her Black life, but I almost get beat up because I'm not rabid with hatred, because I don't see exactly, I'm not programmed like these rabid women. Really, like, to sit there call yourself a professional and you're standing there in my grill coughing into your face mask diaper, ew, and trying to scare me. And I'm like, I'm not scared of this virus. I was more scared of them, right? And it's like just bonkers. There's no logic. It's so aggravating. But I left there thinking, okay, well, there's no way to get hold of these. I reposted the video that disappeared, and I'm sure they're going to be on me like shit. Like I didn't have enough problems. Now we're sending out your little AI bots, millennials, to go after people. And it's like when you want to connect and get real, they don't have it. They don't know. You don't know anything about George Floyd. You're being duped. Sorry, you're being duped. We had a black president for 8 years. This is manufactured. And acting like juvenile fucking delinquents is not the answer. It's not the way adults behave. It's not adulting. All right. PCR test. I'm just looking at the clips, my clips that I capture, and then I can use it as a timeline and plop them in when I'm doing my edit. Fauci goes on a cartoon, says everyone should get vaccinated, is talking about anti-science when he's practicing scientism.
And that's the reason why when we go back to school, your teachers and your health officials are going to try as best as possible to protect you from getting infected. When a vaccine comes along, and we will get a vaccine probably by the end of this year, the beginning of 2021.
Oh my
and if
God.
the vaccine proves to be safe and effective, we all should get vaccinated. I know I'm going to get vaccinated when we get a vaccine. So we should make sure we protect everyone by getting a vaccine.
Oh.
Can you explain a little about how a vaccine works?
Oh my God.
With a vaccine, what you want is you want the body to see a part of the virus that induces in it a response to ultimately protect you. Now, when you get infected, you can get sick or you can get mild symptoms, but when you recover because the body did something to get rid of the virus. It made what's called an antibody, which is a protein that when it sees the virus, it attacks the virus. So when we make a vaccine, we've got to mimic natural infection, but we don't want to make you get infected. We want to do something that's really safe so that your body will make all of these antibodies, but it won't need to get sick.
So, you've said that a vaccine is what will end this pandemic. But that can only happen if the vast majority of people trust the science behind them. In all your years as a public health official, have you seen a shift in how people view science?
Unfortunately, yes. It's shifting in the wrong direction. In that there has been an anti-science attitude that is not only unfortunate, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because science is the pursuit of knowledge, of truth. And if you fashion your actions based on misinformation, it could be dangerous to you and dangerous to society. So I would encourage all the children that even though there's a pushback on science from some people, that is not a good direction to follow.
Hold on, baby.
What gives you hope that we're going to get through this?
What gives me hope is the resiliency of the American spirit.
36 years, 6 presidents, how many pandemics? If you really look at the details, this vaccine deep state who went on record and told Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, that he holds no stakes because of the way the question was phrased, weak, that he has no basically financial incentives to develop a vaccine or whatever.
So I have a question for all of our witnesses, and I think you can answer with just a simple yes or no. Dr. Fauci, do you hold direct financial investments like stocks in any of the companies that are developing COVID-19 vaccines?
No.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever. You're a crook. All right, we're using the PCR test. The cases are going up. What is 200,000? Oh, coronavirus related. You know how many coronavirus related deaths? And then when you say, what does that mean? Oh, like that 9-year-old whose father just happened to be in a gang in Putnam County that died weeks earlier. That there was some weird ties with this father, and then I call the woman at the hospital, and she can't tell me HIPAA. Oh, now we give a fuck about HIPAA. But when you're doing your Zoom calls and you put in your materials, I know because I've read them, that HIPAA goes out the window. There is no HIPAA when it comes to mental health issues. Which will later, everything will be, a thought crime. You have done wrong by the Ministry of Truth. Let us do a soft run so we can identify the dissidents that will refuse to wear their face diapers, the other ones that will acquiesce because they want to be part of the Matrix. They are part of the Matrix. They have to wear it for their work. They have to wear it to feed their families. They are obedient, and we will use them as soldiers as we evoke Snitch Nation and usher in China Light and the social credit system. How'd you like that rant? Yeah. Okay. Crazy Black Mirror episode. So you're Fauci telling children that they need to get vaccinated, that you're going to get vaccinated. You're telling people to get a flu vaccine, even though the Pentagon put out a study showing that you're become 36% more vulnerable to the coronavirus. You have your immune system, but you're wearing a face diaper, but you're drinking fucking beer, and you have a huge ass beer gut. Disgusting. Sorry, I'm a fattest. As someone that used to be chubby and made fun of and thrown on the ice and called tub of blood and prank called, and has gained some weight because the gyms are closed, which brings me to another thing. Oh, well, I seem to have come in time when there has been some openings and the government gyms are open, and now you can go and take yoga. But guess what? You just have to be immune to Lysol, which is proven to be associated with chemical pneumonia, is an irritant to the lungs, which the sales have soared, which used to be have an ingredient to use it as an abortificant to abort a baby. They've since changed the formula, and the same distributor sells some kind of shitty phlegm mucus for the fucking irritation that they cause in the lungs. Oh, and now there's fires, and let me guess, that doesn't negatively impact respiratory illnesses, which, by the way, happen to be the 5th leading cause of death. So let's get them in the air that they breathe. Oh, that's sinister. No, so sorry. Don't buy that after blowing the whistle on Bayer and focusing on food supply and poisons. That's what happened to have focused on for 12 years. So when you realize that they're slowly poisoning us, please do not tell me that Fauci gives a fuck about you. Does not. Did you catch the little horns on Time magazine? Sure, that's an accident. Obama also had those little horns on Time magazine. No one, no Norman will convince me that Fauci gives a fuck about your health. Nope, no way. Just looking at my pictures. Oh yeah, Schwab. I was reading The Global Reset. Maybe I mentioned that from here on out, forget about before Christ and after Christ, that from here on out it's before Corona and after Corona. That still irks me every time I utter that passage by Schwab. So I was reading it in Amazon. When I was in the Amazon, in the jungle, I ordered something and it did not get to me. So I asked for a refund. These are your return policies. You granted me the refund. I did not force the person on the phone. I've been using Amazon for 10 years. They took away my account. You're going to tell me you don't know it's a pandemic, and not because I want to support the richest man on the planet, Bezos, with more stuff, but having been in the jungle for 6 months, we're all had this love-hate relationship, not all, but many, with Bezos and Amazon. So they canceled my account. I was told to just open another account, even by an Amazon employee. They've canceled them all. I'm on that shit list too. And did I take to full extent the return policies? Yes. Did I return things without sending materials back? That one time, I had not used Amazon in 6 months. So more so, what's upsetting is that my books of 10 years, my Kindle books, my always reading like 5 different headlines, books at the same time, gone. Cannot get someone on the phone, any human. I want my books. I paid for those books. I would like them back. This is intellectual property in more ways than one. It's upsetting because we're bit burning and we're deleting things, and we're told that the Kennedy, the protest in Germany, mainstream, if it even covered it at all, said there was like 17,000 or 38,000. There was 1.2 million people at this Berlin protest, trying to stop in what's really going on. This, what I've told you, with this social credit system, this totalitarian, techno-fascist way of life that seemingly people are okay with. And that's fine. You should be given a choice. To which extent? When I got off the airport in Houston, that's when I had to go through customs. So I watched people in front of me standing in front of a machine. This is when you show your passport and, you know, if you've bought booze or whatever, which I had not, or whatever, did not buy anything. So I was like looking and going, are they standing in front of is that a thermometer? What's happening there? 15 minutes, nobody asks any questions, but I do. What are you doing over there? It's called simplified arrival. Oh, what's wrong with like using your fucking eyes and then looking at my passport and going, okay, that's a match? No, you want to facial recognize, and everyone for a simplified arrival are going to just do it. This is a beta program that they're testing during the outbreak of the Rona that's ushering in so many wonderful, lovely things, all under the guise of safety and health. EUA nation. It's still an emergency. Still emergency. All these not FDA approved products that you've put on the market and then call people like me quacks. You should be ashamed of yourself. How could you not think this is demonic when there's no sense of integrity? No sense of really, or you're just an accomplice doing your job or drinking the Kool-Aid and thinking that you're part of the solution when you're not. So, simplified arrival. He thought I was rude. Oh, I'm being rude. I'm being rude that you weren't going to ask my permission as you scanned my face and took my biometrics without me knowing? I'm sorry. Oh, I can opt out. Thanks. I'll opt out right now. Thank you. Opt out as much as I can. And maybe as we boil, you'll just say, hey, it's just a vaccine. I'm not taking your fucking vaccine. I know too much. And I'm not going to do it. And I should have that right. And I don't put you at risk. I've hugged plenty of people. I've been in planes. And I have an immune system. And if something happens, then I'll take my chances. And if it's my time to die, then I will die. but I'm not taking your vaccine. That's it. It's very easy. And if enough of us will wake up to the fact that these injections are not only mutate you, they've never been tested on humans, they're fast-tracked, which somehow is a good thing. Make medicine. Fast is better. Really. You like to have sex fast? I don't. I mean, sure, sometimes. But on the most part, if this is going to inoculate me, and it's not, because you, Fauci, are okay with a 50 to 70% efficacy rate for something that has to be, of course, the way you designed it, it's going to have 2 shots. You're not immune. You might get it again. You might be a long hauler. I know a long hauler, someone who doesn't fully recover. I don't know how many strains of this virus is. I don't know what's really going on. If it's the corona, the COVID-19, or, chronic fatigue. Who the fuck knows? When you have a shitty PCR test that spews out, that looks for genetic material, and if you've ever had any of the family of the corona, because it's a family, then it might come up. It's like 100 plus I've been saying about this PCR test since February. But this, how many PCR tests on the FDA? I watched them go from like 1, 2, then there's like 60, then 100. No gold standard. No gold standard. Doesn't matter, it seems, how many times many people report, including the New York Times, about the PCR test. It's a joke. This whole thing is a joke, because then you realize that it's a case-demic. And if that's the case, then you can't trust anything that they say, because they're playing with the numbers. And if you want to wear a face diaper and you feel better, then go right ahead. You're protected. It's the same fucking argument as with the vaccine. It's so brilliant. So brilliant. Sorry, got a little bit heated there. Oh, we have a news drop. It's not my better angle. Why did Fauci meet with Department of Security deputy 12 times at the Obama White House? Oh, did you know? Did you know that he was involved in the anthrax letters in Fort Detrick? Oh, what did you do with your gain of function research when there was a moratorium, but then a wink wink on the bottom of the contract? Just say, yeah. Carry on, carry on, carry on. We have people on record talking about synthetic biology. These virus hunters, there's a legacy of them. Go back to Ebola. They descend on a region. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm a researcher and a thinker and intellectual refugee. And I've been reading enough of this stuff to tell you that vaccines are a fable. Oh yeah, Robert Kennedy Jr. talked about the Simpsonwood. How did I not know this? The secret meeting that occurred with 52 professionals, all the vaccine manufacturers, basically saying, wow, we hired the CDC researcher to look at 100,000 vaccine records for kids, and shit. Thimerosal seems to be associated with not only autism but ADHD and other neurological disorders. Wow. Should we come out? No. Let's spend the next 2 days and plot on how to cover it up. Let's foil, let's fudge, let's hide the real graphs. Let's create another one. Let's make sure that we do not allow the information to leak through a FOIA request. But somehow that meeting, even though they said this is under basically an NDA, it's like embargoed for eternity, do not talk about it, the meeting came out. It's shocking. So these government organizations? Are they more adept at covering their fucking tracks than taking care of people's healths, children included? You betcha. You know, coming to these conclusions and then seeing so many others as well is not, it's not fun. It's not pleasant. What are we going to do with it? You're just going to roll over? Let's see, let me bring this here. I have 3 screens going. Oh no. Where are you? Cement jungle. The cement jungle. 44 minutes. Maybe this is... If there are any... Please give me news on where you are and how things are going. And if you feel... If you like the masks, what can we do? I burned mine on camera. I did a music video called Sharona. But it was fuck you, Corona. And I'm really sorry if I come off as insensitive. What does a vax pimp need to meet with law enforcement executives? We're talking about Fauci. Did Obama deliver the cover? Did Gates deliver the money? And Fauci deliver the poison? Both were at the White House on the same day. See the graphs. But why would Homeland Security need to meet with the vax pimp so much? What could HS deliver? Think that one over. What if this becomes real? When I say I'm not discounting the flu, I'm not discounting the coronavirus in any way, shape, or form. The last time I had the flu was 5 years ago. And guess what? The things that helped me are the things that the FDA is coming after me for. Vitamin C and silver. That's what I used when you out there told me to go to get my Z-Pack. Z this. I'm taking a fucking Z-Pack. I have my immune system. I grew up on antibiotics. I'm not taking them. I'm not taking a vaccine. So... yeah, silver and vitamin C. And the FDA is coming after people. Commissioner Hahn, who, oh, yeah, thanks for tweeting. Thanks for tweeting against shaming my company in Twitterville when you're supposedly under quarantine. Really, I feel honored. I feel honored to be able to say that to people. That the FDA commissioner, the dude that you see every once in a while, sometimes with a tan, sock puppet in Redfield, a beluga whale, who said, oh, surprisingly, the masks are more effective than a vaccine. And we know how effective the vaccine is. No. Yeah. No. I just hope that more people wake up and go, there's something a little fishy about this. Why is it that when we filmed in January, Zach and I, the people knew? There was this one black lady, she's like, they made this. Someone's lying. That was what her gut said. You were right, lady. Lady who smelled like alcohol in the metro. You're absolutely right. And you're black. I wonder what you think now. Do you think that they really give a shit about black lives? Virtue signaling. Sorry, sound a little cynical. Hi. So, yeah, I think that I don't have anything else to say. I think this is a good transmission. A few good things came out. Again, the takeaway here is, let's think of this, okay? I'm going to just encapsulate it one more time, because I do like talking about George Floyd, because I know the details. So, let's establish that Hennepin County, let's look for a moment. 1 second. I want to look at the characteristics of because it's just the fact that I happened to watch this town meeting and just caught this about the votes. If I was more skilled, I would share it, that segment, but I'll put it in the edit I do, because I taught myself how to edit when I was in the jungle. Okay, Hennepin County is in Minnesota and has a population of 1 million people. So they're asking for $3.5 million as part of the CARES Act and they were already in June pushing mail-in voting. They said absentee voting, but it was clear, and now we've seen that in Ilhan Omar's district, which is Hennepin County, that there's been ballot harvesting using Somalians. Let's just venture to say that some of it are illegal immigrants, and that doesn't make me anti-Somalian for anyone who's thinking that. To serve as accomplices, giving them money like $800 to go and vote. So who is is that $3.5 million being used to pay off Somalians? I don't know. Hey, I just made that jump right now. But I found it interesting that there was one commissioner who stood for integrity. He again is the same commissioner. I don't have his name right now. I spoke to his assistant, who stood for Alexander Baker and stood to have him reinstated because those two other commissioners wanted to vote Alexander Baker, the true independent medical examiner, for causing, quote, irreparable damage to the Black community, which is stupid and untrue and just idiotic. So you do your job and you cause irreparable damage because you actually showed that this dude, Floyd, had tons of drugs in his system. You, A.G. Ellison, that is on this case, sat on body cam footage showing what I had already read in the transcript and was telling people that this guy said, I can't breathe, before being put on the sidewalk.
When I start breathing, it's gonna go up on me, man. Pull your legs down. Okay. Let me count to 3. Let me count to 3 and I'm going in. Please. I'm not trying to win. I get on the ground, anything. I can't stand this, man. He know it. Yes, you get in this car, we can talk. I'm claustrophobic. I'm hearing you, but you're not working with me. God, I'm claustrophobic, man. Get in the car over here. I'm gonna pull you in. Get in the car. In the front. No, you're not getting in the front. I'm claustrophobic. Get in the car. Okay, man. Okay. I'm not a bad guy, man. Get in the car. I'm not a bad guy. Man. Please, take a seat. Please, man. Please. No, take a seat. I can't choke. I can't breathe, officer. Please. Fine. My wrist, man. Please. I can't take this, man. I can't. I'm only on the ground. Get in the squad. I'm only on the ground. I'm going down. I'm going down. I'm going down. I'm not breathing. Bro, you look down a heart attack, shit, man. I know I can't breathe. Talk to the ground. Get my oxygen, I'm back COVID, man. I can't breathe.
Does that not matter? Does it not matter that we're walking around feeling that you can't? I wear this face diaper for 5 minutes and I'm like, I can't fucking breathe. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence that Eric Garner said I can't breathe. Also, in 2014, 6 years ago, also black, also represented by Michael Baden, also represented by Benjamin Crump. Fuck. Really? It's just a coincidence? Anyways, so in this hearing on June 9th and 11th, I stand for the rest of the meeting, and it's like a Zoom call on like Internet Explorer, And they talk about this money that they're asking for. And I'm like, oh, $3.5 million. And then another $3.5 million for additional funding also to go. Okay, hire more people. You're already banking on this in June. You're already pushing for this in June. Okay. Corruption can happen on both sides. This guy who spoke up, which I will edit to, was, I felt, bipartisan and neutral. Rare these days. So I wanted to just, I think, given that is in some circles big news about this this ballot harvesting. I don't know which part you're saying, haha, so true. But if you're laughing, that makes me happy. I'll share also this. Let's see what else. It's all funny. I bought this selenite. I was told in the jungle to buy selenite. It's a good piece. I bought it through plexiglass. And she told me to wear a face diaper. And I said, I'm behind plexiglass outside. I'm not wearing a mask. And she picked this piece for me. And it was quite affordable. But I've never, never have purchased something through plexiglass. Just, please. Oh, yeah. It's time to go watch South Park. There's the pandemic special. They're talking about, the kids are talking about whether they want to go to school, and then the trailer cuts to, you know, that picture where the children are like Teletubbies and they're in plexiglass, also wearing masks inside their little Teletubby plexiglass. Oh, wow. I really want my child to grow up. It's time to take a hit of a joint, really. It's, I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm not that brazen yet. It's a Miriam Unleashed episode. I have to watch my mouth. Try to, for some of the older people who maybe, like my mom, don't like swearing. Whereas I love swearing. That's why I'd love to speak to Harry Vox. For whatever reason, I think that he got a negative impression on me because I was really asking about the connection between Israeli and Hamas. Like, really wanted to know, because when I was doing research in June on Hennepin County and Omar Sabri and the clip I found that I think was from iPod, he did an excellent, very entertaining piece, Weatherman Report, on George Floyd. Isn't it amazing that the Rona on a Hollywood set, when the director yells action, that you can take off your mask and the Rona knows not to infect you? Isn't it amazing? With all those false positives, that 3 weeks on set for some fucking stupid vampire shit Netflix show, that there's no false positives. Interesting. It's wild. Wild considering the odds, considering the statistics. Maybe it's not a RT-PCR. Maybe it's another test, a saliva test. I just know, I don't care. I'm not going to just say acquiesce and make it okay with the mask. Like, even my friend told me, Mateo, was like, oh, you're already making excuses saying that the visor. He's like, don't waver. Because you get sick of it and it becomes normalized. That's what they're banking on. We've done a really damn good job. Bravo, bravo, they're laughing. Oh, I can't breathe. And George Floyd in the windows. When you realize that this is not a real case, there's two, they just happen to know each other. I'm taking a poll on the streets. People don't know that they knew each other. You find it weird that they worked together at the same club, and then the club burned down, and the police station burned down, and then the radio station owned by the front woman burned down, and then the real owner of ENR, El Nuevo Rodeo, is Omar Sabri, who's related to Ilan Sabri, and Ilan Sabri is involved in some Harvard balloting because she's paying Somalians to vote, paying them off $800. Isn't that a little weird that all this shit is happening in fucking Hennepin County? That Keith Ellison has tried George Floyd and called him a murderer, Because there's no innocent until proven guilty, because nobody cares. It's a fucking Reno 911. Listen, I'm putting so much stress on George Floyd because this is the reason why this whole BLM bullshit has erupted. I'm not saying Black lives don't matter, but these people don't care. I'm sorry. These people, Keith Ellison, defund the police, not reform the police, defund the police. Oh, let's hate a whole group of people and talk to them like they're one, and then say that we want people to not do that to the black race and not just judge them on their skin color, but more so on the merit of their character. And then when you have young children, young teens, young women, young people, they called Zach a QAnon loser just because he's white. Just because he's white. Didn't even speak to us. Oh, you did a movie about bees? That means you care about bees more than you do humans. Oh, of course. Of course. It's exactly it. You've pinned me. You've figured me all out. I care about bees more than humans. Sure. I'm one of those crazy animal people that do actually care about animals more than do humans. No. Your psychological profiling, your quick splicing of me is incorrect. Try again. All right. Which fire dance? Oh, my little fuck Corona fire dance. Yeah. Oh my God, I have to see South Park. How can I see it? How can I see it? Do I have to be subscribed? Oh, I have to get it. Can I see it on popcorn? Anyone help a sister out? Made me looking a little fuzzy. Little fuzz. You know, I don't care that it looks like ghetto. It's supposed to be a Q and a heart. It does look ghetto. It looks like I got drunk. I kind of did. Got drunk on a broken heart. So I'm going to go back to research. Thank you. I was really excited to share this about Hennepin, and then now I have to download this and edit it. Although probably will cut this part out because you don't need to know that. Okay, well, I did not connect with a lot of people, but wherever you are, like in Romper Room, I see Nancy and Susie and Peter. Maybe you're too young to remember that, but Romper Room was born in 73. Wherever you are, I hope you enjoy your freedoms. I definitely have a new appreciation for life and humanity. And astonished at the amount of dumb fucks. Excuse me. It was a Tourette's moment. No, I do have appreciation. I'm trying really, really, and it's work. It's trigger work. That's what they call it, trigger work. To not get so worked up. Everyone's doing their best. I hope. No, they're not. This is not your best. Sorry. I don't think this is our best. Let's talk in the we, in the royal we. This is not our best. This is Great Awakening. This is a shit show. The debate was a shit show. Let's hope we can have a little bit more class on both sides. These are grown men. These are grown men. The level of sophistication, if it's supposed to be mirroring something, is not to write home about, an email about. So wherever you are, count your blessings, be kind. I really wish self-awareness to be like, I was a dick right there. I think that the jungle helped. Certain things helped. Losing certain things helped. And then having a new beginning. Comedy Central. Okay, hold on. Sister. Oh, what? I saw the trailer. Shit. So you have to wait for a replay. It's not like view on demand. This is like American Apparel. It was a scarf that could be turned into so much. I want to do voiceovers. Are people doing voiceovers today? I can do voices. I can speak in a British accent. I can speak French. I can speak... Oh, shit. It's already 9:45. Okay. Stop being silly. Enough silly. Be silly. Have fun. Yeah. Count your blessings. Be healthy. Do not eat pizza. Do not eat grains. Go easy on the alcohol. It's sugar. And it's aging. And I don't know. I've been feeling stiff. I don't know what. I really wish the gyms were open. But again, they're going to mandate masks. Like, really? I'm going to go do a boot camp outside and you're going to fucking force me to wear? Like, really? I don't understand the logic. How can you say you stand for health? Okay, over and out.